Yesterday we were discussing about integration architecture overview, and then we have created a EIB outbound integration. So the task to create EIB is create EIB. This is the task to create the EIB integration. We use the same task either for EIB inbound or outbound. And then we have to give the name and we have to select option whether we are building inbound integration or outbound integration. And later if you select in the next step, you will have three steps. Data source means get data, transform and delivery. So where you have to mention what is the data source of the integration and how integration can transform the output of the data source, and finally delivery step to where the file has to be delivered. We have already created our integration, and to search for an existing integration, the prefix is intsys, stands for integration system. This is the prefix to search for an existing integration. So let me search for that. So here these are the integrations that we have created, or these are the integration whose name starts with the WICT_July. So I think this is the one which we have created. Yes. So again guys, the prefix to search for an existing integration is intsys. So I have opened this integration, and if you want to edit this integration, go to related actions, integration, where it is enterprise interface, edit. If you want to edit the EIB, so go to related actions, enterprise interface, edit. It will take you to the same screen where you can select the or modify the general settings, where you can change the data source and then transformation and delivery steps. Let me go to this data source. So we have selected custom report as the data source type. That means this integration will use the custom report as the data source. And which custom report? This one. We have already enabled this as a advanced web service, so we are able to call from the integration. And when you call the custom report from an integration, we can get the custom report output in different formats. And here you can mention in which format you want to receive the output. We have different formats, but we mainly select either simple XML or Workday XML. Mainly we use either simple XML or Workday XML. The difference between these two is Workday XML includes integration IDs. Along with the data, it includes integration IDs. So if you need those integration IDs, you will select Workday XML, and that is the default option. If you don't select any output format, then it will be Workday XML. If you need simple XML, select this. So we have mentioned the data source. If you run this integration, it will go and call this custom report, and it will return the output of that custom report in simple XML format. So the output, simple XML output of this custom report, will be sent to the transformation step. It will be sent to the transformation step. Here you will mention the XSLT details. So how you would like to transform your data. If you want to use the XSLT written by you to transform this XML into another format, select custom transformation. Select custom transformation, and it allows you to select the XSLT written by you. It allows you to select or mention the XSLT written by you. So now we need XSLT, which can transform this report output into CSV. First, prepare your XSLT. Okay, to prepare the XSLT, we need the input. We need the custom report output in simple XML format. I will use that as an input and I will write the XSLT which can transform that into a required format. So how can I get that simple XML? Go to the report. This is the report which we are calling in integration. Go to related actions, web service, view URLs, view URLs, and it will ask you to provide the prompt values. Provide, and here you can see the output in worked XML, simple XML. So I need in simple XML. So click that. Then it will prompt for the username and password. Provide those details. Guys, I will explain you as you don't have the access to the direct access to the credentials. I will let you know how you can get the simple XML. So here I have the simple XML and I want to use this to write the XSLT. So once you have this, go to view page source, copy this, okay, and to prepare XSLT and to write the XSLT and to test the XSLT, I use an tool called Oxygen XML editor. Oxygen XML editor. I use this tool or IDE to write and test my XSLT. So you can download this from the Google. While downloading, it will ask for the registration. If you provide valid email ID, it will send the 30 days free license to what is that license 30 days trial license. You can use that. Okay, once the trial is expired, okay, do the registration again using another email ID and you can update that license here. See, click on request a trial license. It will take you to the registration page, and then once you do the registration using a valid email ID, then it will send 30-day trial license key to you. So using that, you can continuously use this ID. You don't have to purchase. Okay, I will spend some time later to explain more about this tool, but I use this editor to write my XSLT and to test my XSLT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the input. Okay, sometimes you will see this kind of error. Make sure you don't have any space at the beginning. So this is my input. And now I have to write an XSLT. New XSLT. Here I am going to write the XSLT. Yes, I will spend some time later to explain about how to write the XSLT and all those. Okay, so I already have the available XSLT. I'm using that. So meanwhile, till we discuss that, remember one thing. So to transform that report output, we need XSLT. Just remember that, and we are preparing that XSLT here. And let me test this XSLT. Can I see this? Just assume I want to include last name of the worker, first name of the worker, and hire date of the worker in the output. I just want to include these three: last name, first name, and hire date. And I want to send the comma separated file. So all these values, first name of the worker, last name of the worker, and hire date, are separated by comma. Here, can you see this? This XSLT can transform this XML into a comma separated file, and it is including last name, first name, and hire date of the worker. What I can do is, now I can use this XSLT to transform that, and I will use the same XSLT, or I will mention these XSLT details in my integration. Here I will mention that under custom transformation I will use that XSLT. So first let me save this record. Let me save this 1 second. So I have saved this record in my local directory, and I'm going to use this here. So as I have the XSLT which can be used to transform the report output, I have selected custom transformation, and here I have to mention the XSLT. But you cannot directly upload the XSLT here. You cannot directly upload your XSLT here. So how you can upload the XSLT is, there is a separate task. There is a separate task. The task name is create XSLT attachment transformation. Create XSLT attachment transformation. This is the task. This is the task to this is the task that can be used to upload your XSLT to the tenant. So select files and browse for your XSLT file. 1 second. So here, browse for the XSLT file and give some name. So I'm using this name of the integration followed by XSLT. The task to attach the XSLT is create XSLT attachment. Use this task to upload your XSLT and give the name and mention this name in transformation step. Custom transformation and mention this name. So then integration will use this XSLT to transform the custom report output. And once the transformation is over, it will send that data, the transformed data, to the delivery step. So here you will mention how you want to save that file, means save that data. See here in the transformation step, it will just transform the custom report output and it will send the data to the delivery step. So here you will mention how do you want to save that data. How do you want to save that data and to where you want to deliver this file. To where you want to deliver this file, transformed output. So here you have different delivery methods. you can deliver this file, the transformed data. You can deliver that transformed data using SFTP or FTP, email or AS2. These are the different delivery methods or protocols or methods. Using either of this, you can deliver the file to the required endpoint. Let's say I want to send this output to an SFTP. Then it will ask for the SFTP address, directory, authentication method, user ID, file name, etc. Guys, these details will be provided as part of the requirement. Whenever you get the requirement, they will mention to where the file has to be delivered. Means endpoint or location to where the file has to be delivered. And they also mention which delivery method to use. Do we have to send the file using SFTP or FTP or email or another delivery method? They will mention those details, and along with that they will also provide the configuration details. If SFTP, which SFTP address and to which directory they want to copy the file, and to connect to the SFTP, which authentication method we have to use, SSH or username and password. If we select this one here, username and password you have to provide. And when sending the data to this delivery, how you want to save that transformed data, you will mention that file name here, and the data will be saved as this file, and the file will be delivered to this location. And to connect, it will use this authentication, and after connecting it will copy that output file to this SFTP address into this directory. So these details will be given as part of the requirement. If you want to know more about these transport protocols, SFTP or FTP, how they work, and configuration or additional details that we have to provide, you can get those from the Google. Okay, SFTP or FTP, these are the protocols. These are not specific to Workday. So based on the requirement.
Yeah,
Mhm.
What is the difference between SFTP? SFTP is a server file transfer protocol, right?
FTP stands for file
It
transfer
is
protocol. S means secure,
hmm,
secure.
main difference between these two, server and FTP, SFTP, FTP.
That's what. See, could you please be on mute? See, FTP and SFTP. That's what. If the difference is, SFTP is more secure. SFTP is more secure, and if you want to know the exact difference, like what is the security used by the SFTP and what is the limitations of FTP, you can get those details from Google, because these are the transport protocols. Even I'm not good at those, and these are not specific to Workday. And what I do is, as an integration consultant, whenever I build the integration, I will be provided with this configuration. The requirement document clearly mention which delivery method they want to use, SFTP or FTP. I will select based on that. And if it is SFTP, they will give address, directory and authentication method, etc. I will just mention that. But one thing I know is SFTP is more secure than FTP. How it is more secure and what internally mechanism or process used by the SFT, even I'm not aware. You can get that from Google. So you will select this delivery method, which delivery method you want to use to deliver this file. So these are uh, common to all the integrations or applications. It's not specific to Workday. And the option which is specific to Workday is Workday attachment. This is specific to workday attachment. Okay, to understand this one, take a requirement. Just assume you have built an integration and you are running this integration daily. You have scheduled this integration to run daily. It is running daily. Today is 27th. The integration is completed. Let's assume the integration first run happened on 25th. This is a daily integration. So first run happened on 25th and another run happened on 26th and then on 27th. Okay, this one, and assume another run happened on 28th. So on 29th, every day when you run this integration, we are sending the file to the vendor. Okay, on 29th, the vendor raised a ticket. They raised a bug or ticket saying, hey, the file which was sent on 25th run contains incorrect data. So daily we are sending our files to the vendor, so they are uploading or updating their database accordingly. But on 29th or later, August 1st somewhere, they found that the data sent as part of the 25th July 2017 contains the incorrect data. And they asked us to investigate the reason for that, why it has the incorrect data. Then what you will do? What would be your approach if you get such ticket? So the ticket says the 25th integration run has the incorrect data. So first you need that incorrect data. So if you have that data, then you will check which information is incorrect. If you can find that by seeing the data, you will start investigating. Or if you don't understand, you will ask them, hey, this is the data which is sent as part of 25th. Which data is incorrect? You need that data for the reference. But if we select the delivery method as SFTP, just assume we are sending the data to vendor using SFTP. If you use SFTP and if you mention all these details, then what happens is when you run this integration, the output, the transformed output will be sent to this SFTP. It will be sent to this SFTP location and you will not have this data in Workday for your reference. When you select the delivery method as SFTP or FTP, any one of these, then the file, the output file will be sent to that location endpoint and the data will not be available in Workday for your reference. But when you got the ticket like this, you need the data for your reference. One option is you will request the vendor who raised this ticket. You will request that vendor, hey, I don't have the data for my reference. Could you send it to me? Again, they have to send the data. And how do you ensure whatever the data the vendor sent is correct? How do you ensure they didn't change the data? The file was not corrupted or changed. And again, when the vendor wants to share that file with you, they cannot send through mails. Usually we don't share the data through emails. It has to be copied to some SFTP or FTP location where you have to connect and you have to get the data. And you cannot confirm that whatever the data they share is correct. And how you get the again the same data? You have to run the integration with the same parameters used by this run. You have to rerun the integration with the same launch parameters used by this integration run. So to avoid all these, how about attaching the output file or keeping the output file in Workday for your reference? Along with sending the output file to the required endpoint, if we can save that or if we can store that output file in Workday for our reference, we can avoid all this. And that can be done using Workday attachment. It can be done using Workday attachment. When you select this option, what happens is the output of this transformation step will be attached to the Workday integration event. Okay, let me explain in this way. So now if you want to keep that output file in Workday for our reference, we can use Workday attachment option. When you use this option, what happens is, see, when you run this integration, for each run it will create an integration event. For each run it will create an integration event. Whenever you run the integration, it will create an integration event, and this event contains the information about this run. This integration event contains the information about this run, which parameters are used, when this integration is launched, at what time this integration is launched, if we have any launch parameters, that information are output of this integration, and to where this file has delivered, all the details of that particular run. Guys, not only for EIB, either for Core Connector or Studio, whenever we run the integration, it will create an integration event. And that integration event stores the information of that run. When the run is triggered, by whom, and which parameters are used, which output got generated, and additional details. So to that integration event, when you select the delivery method as Workday attachment, to that integration event, this file will be attached. To that integration event, the file will be attached. So now if I get a ticket like this, when they say, hey, 25th integration run contains some incorrect data, then immediately what we will do is we will go to that integration run. We will go to the run happened on 25th and we will open that integration event of that run, and in that we will check the output file. We'll check the output file available in the integration event. We will see all these options. Just for your understanding, I'm explaining this. So for 26th run also, again the output of the July 26th run will be attached to that integration event. like this. So when you need this feature, you will select workday attachment. The output file will be attached to the integration event and file name. So here the transformation step just transform the data and send the same data to the delivery step. So here when you are delivering this file, delivering the data, you have to store it as or save it as a file. So what should be the file name? I'm using this city underscore July underscore EIB underscore outbound dot CSV. The file is in comma separated format, so I'm using dot CSV. You have to mention that. The next one is document retention policy. It indicates how many days the file should be available in Workday. Just now we discussed if you use the Workday attachment, the output file will be attached to the integration event. Yes, fine. How many days you want to maintain that file? You will mention those details here. So maximum days is 180 days. You cannot store the output file more than 180 days. Max is 180. So if you use 10, the file will be available for 10 days. Remember document retention policy, it helps you to mention how many days the file should be available. So I'm mentioning, hey, attach the output file to the integration event, and this should be the file name. And we can add more than one delivery step. Here we have selected the workday attachment, and here you can add one more delivery step. See, let's take this requirement. So this integration output file I have to send to a vendor using SFTP. This is my requirement. I have to send the output file of this integration to vendor using SFTP. This is my actual requirement. And along with this, along with sending the data to this FTP, we want to maintain this file in our workday. So for that we have to use workday attachment. In that case, what we can do is we can add more than one delivery step. Means we can add more than one delivery method. So the first delivery method that we have added, workday attachment, it will help you to attach the output file to the integration event. Now we have to add another delivery method to send the output to the vendor's SFTP folder. So you will mention that, sorry, this time SFTP. So select SFTP and SFTP address and all those. When you mention that, what happens is once the output is available, the output will be attached to the workday event, and along with that the same output will be sent to the vendor using this delivery method. You can add more than one delivery method, okay, and you can do it here using add option. Now take another requirement. See, if you take any organization, we will have at least three tenants. We will have at least three tenants. One is production tenant, and another one is sandbox, and another one is dev or implementation tenant. Implementation tenant. We can have three tenants. Just assume we can run the integration either in production, sandbox, or implementation. And what is the development process? First, when you are building the integration, you will do it in the implementation tenant. When you are building the integration, you will do it in the implementation tenant. After that, once the development is over, you will move that code to the sandbox. And sandbox, we do the testing. We do the testing, and here we do the development. We do the development, and then we will move to the sandbox. Here we will do the sandbox testing. Once we get the approval, UAT, user acceptance test approval, then we will move to the production, which is live. Okay, so while building the integration, what you have done is you have added a delivery step. You have added a delivery SFTP delivery step, and you have mentioned that SFTP address and all those details here. All the details here. That's fine, it works fine. But if we take this case, we can run the integration either in implementation, sandbox, or production. If you have one delivery method, like if you have the same configuration, then what happens is if you run the integration in the implementation, then the file will be copied to the vendor's folder. Let's say vendor has a folder called live. Assume that when we run the integration in the implementation, it is copied to this folder. And this sandbox also, it is copied to the same folder. In the prod also, it is copied to the same folder. Then how the vendor knows is the file from prod or sandbox or implementation? You have configured the delivery method to send the file to the vendor endpoint, and you can run the integration in either of these tenants. If you run the integration, just say as part of some testing or as part of some development, you run the integration in the implementation tenant, then the output is sent to the vendor's production SFTP location. Here sandbox also, it sent to the vendor's production folder. So how does it differentiate? How vendor knows is the data from the prod, sandbox, or
With the
implementation?
with the naming convention we have.
So what vendor do is vendor will have different folders. For prod they will have like this live, and for sandbox they will have sandbox or test and dev. And their expectation is when we run the integration in production, the data should be copied to the /live folder. When we are running the integration in sandbox, the data should be sent to the vendor's test folder and dev folder. How do you mention that? Here, if you see here, what you will do is suppose, or let's say, how do you restrict that? How do you inform your integration? Hey, if it is a sandbox, then send this data to the text. If it is a prod, send the data to the live folder. How do you instruct your integration? You can do it using an option, say restricted to. So what we will do is, in this case, we will add three delivery methods. One is for production, one is for sandbox, and another one is for testing. And we restrict that live one to the this one. So you will do like something like this. I will select SFTP and some SFTP live. Wrong address. Okay, it should start with SFTP /liv live. I want to use some SSH authentication, otherwise username and password. Okay, so if you see here, I'm mentioning SFTP and the folder name is directory name is /live, and here let me select. So here I have given username and password to connect to the SFTP and all those, and this SFTP location should be used by the integration, or the file should be sent to this folder when the integration is running on the production. So you will mention that here, restricted to this SFTP is restricted to production. That means the output file will be sent to this location when the tenant is production tenant. And you will add another delivery method. You will select the SFTP and /test, and you will mention all these details. And when it comes to the restricted to, they will give it as sandbox. So this delivery method will be triggered. This will be triggered only when the environment is sandbox. And you will add another delivery method and you will mention restricted to as implementation. This is how we can control to which folder, to which SFTP or which delivery method has to be used by the integration based on the environment. Using restricted to. So this SFTP delivery method, is restricted to sandbox. That means this delivery method will be triggered if the tenant is a sandbox tenant. Here we have mentioned restricted to as production, right? Okay, sorry. Here you have mentioned restricted to as production. That means this SFTP delivery method will be triggered if the environment is production environment. Okay, using this option, this restricted to feature, you can control the delivery method that should be triggered. But here we don't have access to external SFTP location, so as part of the course we are going to use workday attachment. Here also you will see this option restricted to. Let's say you want to attach the output file when the when the environment is production. If you select this one, The output file will be attached to the integration event if the environment is production. If it is a sandbox or implementation, it will not be attached. But usually we don't use restricted to for workday attachment, because whether it is a sandbox or test, implementation or production, we want to attach the output file to the integration event. Now if I run this integration, what happens is, first it will go and call this custom report. Then the custom report output will be sent to the transformation step. It will use this XSLT to transform the XML file, and the transformed data will be sent to this delivery step. And here we have used the workday attachment. So the output of this transformation step will be attached as an workday attachment. And while attaching, the data will be saved as this file. The output file will have the .csv format, and document retention mention how many days the file should be available. And see for the additional details. So if you want to restrict this to particular environment, you will mention that here. If you want to encrypt this file, when you're attaching or when you're sending the file to a vendor, if you want to encrypt this file, you can use that here. PGP encryption. Workday supports PGP encryption, so you will select this PGP certificate, and these details will be given as part of the requirement. You don't have to worry. They will mention whether the file should be encrypted. If yes, which encryption you have to use. Those details will be provided. I don't want to encrypt the file. And if you want to compress the file, just click on this compress. The file will be compressed. And file type. So if you want to mention the file type explicitly, you can mention that here. You can mention that here, but here we are already saving the file with the extension, so you can ignore this option. Ignore this. Next one is sequence generator for file name. Sequence generator. To understand, let's take this requirement. So we are running this integration daily. We are running this integration daily, and the file will be sent to the vendor's SFTP location where the directory name is live. 25th we run the integration and the file got generated. The file name is the same. Which file name we have used? So this one. This is the file name. So when I run the integration on 25th, it created the output file, and the output file is sent to the vendor's SFTP location where the directory name is live, and this is the file name. And 26 we run the integration again. So again it generated the file with the same name, and it tried to copy to the same location /live. Then what happens? We already sent the file with the same name in 25th run. We are trying to send the file again, file with the same name which got generated as part of 26th run. But file with the same name is already available in that directory. Then it will overwrite the previous file. How to avoid that overwritten? So instead of, how we can avoid this? Instead of sending the static file name, how about generating the file with the dynamic values? How about generating the dynamic file name? You can do that using this option, sequence generator. Sequence generator for file name. As the name indicates, this will generate a sequence number for the file name. It will create generate any unique sequence or unique number that can be used uh, what is that, to file the name. And how can we create a sequence for the file name? There is a task, create id definition. The task name is create id definition or sequence generator. This is the file name. Sorry, this is the task name. Create id definition or sequence generator. So here you will define this sequence. Give some name. Output underscore seq stands for just sequence generator. And here format or syntax. This is the place where we will define your sequence. We have seen the similar screen during calculated fields. Calculated field format date function, we have seen this. Here you can define your sequence, how you want to generate the output file. Just go through this help text. But how I want to generate my output file is, to avoid this overriding, I want to generate in this format. So the file name should start with WICT July underscore EBi underscore outbound underscore date. It should have date, today's date 27th, date underscore month underscore year dot csv. This is the format I want to use for my output file. So tomorrow if you run the integration, what happens? It will generate the file with a different date, 28th. So by doing this, we can avoid this overriding the existing file. So this is the format which I need. I need date, month and year. So go and mouse over to this. First, it should have this file name followed by date and month and year. So here you can see date. So when you need, put it in square brackets, date underscore month underscore year dot csv. Okay, give your format and click somewhere else. Here it will show the example sequence. So the output file name will be like this, WICT July underscore EBi outbound, like this. Now I can use this sequence to avoid that file overriding. This works fine, but take another case. Okay, in the previous case we are running the integration daily, so we have defined the format accordingly. But what happens if the integration run twice in a day? We run the integration morning once and evening once. Every day we runs twice. Then if you run the integration in the evening, it will override the file that got generated by the morning run. To avoid that, To avoid that, there is some option called sequence. Here I can see this SEQ. So what you can do is, one option is you can use a timestamp, not just the date. If you use the time, yes, obviously you can generate a unique file. Or another option is sequence, SEQ, sequence, and you can increase this sequence number here every time. Now the sequence number is 0. So when we run this integration, it will generate the output file with this name. If you run the integration twice on the same day, then the sequence will be 1. If you run the integration again on the same day, then the sequence will be 3. It will keep on increasing. And I want to reset this sequence every day. So if you run the integration tomorrow, then it will be have 2707-2017 underscore 0. For the second run, 2707-2017 underscore 1, 2, 3. For 28, again it will be reset. So using this task, create ID definition or sequence generator, you can define the sequence. You can define the sequence that can be used to generate the dynamic file name. And what you will do is, you will mention that information here. What happened? Sorry, I haven't saved this. So here you can mention the file name at two places. One is, this is the static file name, and whenever you need the dynamic file name, that will be fetched from the sequence generator. This is the static file name and this is the dynamic file name. So which one you want to use, you will mention while launching the integration. You will mention this while launching the integration. So you have mentioned everything and you have created an EIB outbound integration. We have configured the transformation step and we have mentioned the delivery method, and while the delivery method is workday attachment, you have given the static file name and you have mentioned the dynamic file name. To generate the dynamic file names, we use sequence generator, this one, and to restrict this delivery method to a particular environment, we use restrict to option and click on OK. It will save your integration, and again here you can see the details. What is the data source? Custom report, and this is the custom report. If you click on this, it will take you to the custom report. And if you want to view the XSLT used by you, you can click on this. If you click on this, it will download the XSLT. Guys, when you are practicing, if you want to see the XSLT used by me, open this integration. Click on this, it will download the XSLT. And here you have the delivery information. So now as the integration is created, you can run this integration. If you want to run this integration, you can go to the related actions, integration, launch our schedule. Launch our schedule. Integration, related actions. The option is integration, launch our schedule. So here, this is the integration which we are going to launch our schedule. Forget about the organization. Here, run frequency. So you know, right, we can run the integration or we can schedule this integration. So here you will see different run frequency. Run now. If you select this and click on OK, the integration will be run now. It will be triggered immediately. If you want to run this integration once in future, let's say I want to run this integration tomorrow at the same time, I will use this one, run once in future. If you want to run this integration daily, you will select the daily recurrence. If you want to run this hourly, minute, monthly, weekly, if it is a weekly run, you will select this and click on OK, and you will mention on which days you want to run this integration, all those. Yes, you can run the integration now. Whenever you want, you can run this integration. Okay, and you can run this integration weekly once or monthly once, daily once. You can skip that, we call it as scheduling. Okay, we will see how to schedule this integration, but as of now, let me run this integration now. Click on OK. Okay, I want to run this integration now, so I have clicked on run frequency. Select the run frequency as a run now and clicked on OK. So this is the page where you provide integration parameters. We want to launch this integration, but that integration requires some parameters. As these are appeared while launching the integration, we call these as launch parameters. These are the integration launch parameters, and we have to provide value for these parameters to launch our integration. Yes, do you remember these options? Salary and relationship. These are coming from our advanced report. See, in this integration, we are calling a custom report. In this integration, we are calling the custom report, and that custom report has some prompts. That custom report has some prompts and which are mandatory. So those prompts are appeared here. This integration is going to call a custom report which has the prompts. So it is displaying those prompts here. And here you can provide the value. Say salary, I want to use 2 lakhs. This is the default values which you have given. While adding the prompts, you have mentioned the default values and all those. Those default values will not be appeared here. This is an integration, so those values will not be appeared here. I am providing the value to this, and in under relationship I am selecting child and spouse. So if I launch or if I run this integration, then these two values will be sent to the report prompt. It will be sent to the report prompt, and report will return the value accordingly. These two parameter values will be sent to the reports prompt, and report will run the output accordingly. Yes, this is same as providing the value to your report prompts. So, but these two options, file name and document retention policy, these are related to our integration. Here you can see who provided these parameters. Can you see? This is our advanced report. So these two parameters belong to our advanced report, and these two parameters, file name and document delivery, they are related to the file utility, nothing but our integration sequence generator. So here we have file name, and if we select this option, use system default, then integration will use the static file name mentioned in the delivery method. If you use system default, then it will use the static file name mentioned in the delivery method. Do you remember, in delivery method we have given the file name, static file name, and we have mentioned the sequence generator. If you want integration to use the sequence generator to name the file, select this one, determine value at runtime, and use next sequence generator. If you use this option, next sequence for integration file utility, if you use this option, then integration will use the sequence generator to name the file. Then the output file name will have that sequence. If you have system default, then it will use the static file name. This is common. Next sequence for integration file utility. Document retention policy. Again, in the delivery method we have mentioned how many days the file should be available. If you want to override that, you can mention that here. So system default means what you mention in the delivery method. If you want to override that here, let's say I want to keep 10 days. So select this. If you want to use the same one, select the use system default. And click on OK. If you click on OK, then integration will read these two parameter values and pass these values to the report prompts, and it will run the report with those prompt values, and the output of the custom report will be sent to the transformation step in what is that simple XML format of the custom report output will be sent to the transformation step. Transformation step will apply the XSLT on the XML and converts that into CSV, and the transformed CSV data will be sent to the delivery method, which will attach that to the integration event, which uses the either static file name or dynamic file name based on the value that you mentioned here, and the output file will be maintained based on the number of days you mentioned under document retention policy. And let me click on OK. So I just launched this integration. Whenever you launch the integration, what happens? For each integration run, it will create an integration event. So just now I launched this integration. So currently it is in integration event page. This is the integration event page. And as I mentioned earlier, this integration event will contain information about the integration name and integration initiated by whom, at what time, and the additional information. what is the percentage, what is the status of this integration run, how many minutes or seconds it took, and it generate the output file. We have used workday attachment option. So here you can find under outputs tab, you can find the output of that integration event, and whenever we run the integration it generated some messages. So here you can see the messages that belong to this integration event, and you can find the additional information also. Later we will spend, in our next session we will spend more time on understanding this integration event. Okay. As of now we run this integration and we want to see the output file. So you can see the output file here. Open this. Can I see this? This is a comma separated file, so I can you open in Excel sheet. This is the file name. Can you see this? Sorry, where it is? See, this is the file name. And here first name, last name, and hire date of the workers. If you want to include a additional field, let's say you want to include total base pay analyzer amount or any of the other stuff, what you will do is you will mention those details here. Whatever the data you want to include, you will mention that in XSLT, so that additional information will be included, and you will use that XSLT in your integration. Means in your transformation step you will use that XSLT. The output will be generated accordingly. So we have few more topics to discuss in EIB. So one second. Hey. So we have to discuss few more points in EIB. One is notifications. So now we have created this integration, and just assume that we are running this integration daily or weekly once. So just assume that you want to receive the notification when the integration fails, and when the integration is completed with errors, when it's failed or when it completed with errors, you want to receive a notification. So how can we add the notifications to the integrations? How to add the notifications to the integration? Next one is scheduling. How to schedule these integrations? Just now we run this integration using run now option, but I want to run this integration daily or monthly once. How to schedule this integration? And how to edit the existing integration? How to edit the existing integration? Example, here we have used the XSLT, right? In our integration we have used XSLT, and we have used create XSLT attachment transformation. We have used create XSLT attachment transformation to attach our XSLT file. Let's say after a couple of days we got a new requirement. We have to enhance our existing integration, and as part of the enhancement we have to include few additional fields in the output. We have to include few additional fields in the output. So for that we have modified our XSLT. So how can I use the new XSLT? How can I edit existing XSLT attachment transformation. How we have create XSLT attachment transformation, we have edit XSLT attachment transformation. You will click on that, you will select which XSLT attachment transformation you want to edit. So that we will discuss how to edit the existing integration, either XSLT, or if you want to change the custom report, or you want to change the notifications, how do you edit the existing integration. And integration events, how to view the integration events. And finally, how to debug or investigate EIB failures. How to investigate EIB failures. These are pending topics, so we will discuss this in our next session. Out of these, notifications, scheduling, are and integration events, these are common to all the integrations. How do we add the notifications, either EIB, core connector, or studio? How we add the notification is same, scheduling is same, and integration events, how to find the integration events, that is same. Edit the integration. See, as the integration EIB and core connector studio are different, which code we can edit, that differs from integration to integration. And investigating the failures, that also differs. How do you investigate EIB failures, core connector, and studio failures, that differs. So we will discuss about this in our next session. Do you have any queries?
Sure, one question. So we have built this integration, say in dev system. How do we transport this integration to
Right, other tenant? Yes. See, we have different options, but currently most of the customers, they are migrating the code manually. Even so far, I worked for 4 clients. Everybody is moving the code manually. Even yesterday we had the release. Okay, what we do is, and we are doing the manual. While implementing in the implementation tenant, we prepare the installation document. That's step by step install document. And once the implementation is over, we follow that document and we make the same changes in sandbox. And we do the same in the production. But the other options that are available, I will explain later. But
you mean what manually you have done? Like say we have done this integration in the
right
system. You'll do the same, everything manually in sandbox and production.
Yes.
But you might, since
we have other
dev,
options.
you might correctly, but maybe you might make a mistake in sandbox or finally any mistake in production.
Yes.
That becomes issue, right?
That obviously. That's why what we do is we prepare the installation document and we follow that, and later there will be peer review. So review will be done. Suppose you
yeah, Ishwar. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I'm just saying the peer review. If you, let's say you and another participant, you belong to the same team. So
Yeah,
if you move
I
any
know.
code,
Peer review.
yes.
So whatever we are, one associate is done the task, which is going to be reviewed by other person.
Right.
To overcome the initial errors.
Yes.
And I have one XLST, right? Transformation. That
Right.
you write the code So how did you write the code? Is it already predefined code or something?
No, I have written the code.
So okay, so you will explain, right, how to write it, that one?
That okay. As I mentioned, okay, before that, okay, I will stop the recording before doing that. See, one question you can ask me is related to EIB. See, if you remember, okay, while to get the custom report output in simple XML format, to use it in XML editor to write this XSLT, I get this report output in simple XML format. I went to the report web service view URLs and clicked on simple XML. So it prompt for the username and password. I have given the credentials and it displayed the simple XML. But you don't have access to, you don't have direct access to these credentials. But how do you get that XML?
Yes.
So what you can do is, please be on mute. So if you need that XML, what you can do is build an integration. Data step is same. In the transformation, select none. Don't do any transformation. In that case, when you run this integration, first it will call the custom report. The output of the report will be sent to the transformation. Here we are mentioning none. That means you don't want to do any transformation. Then the same XML, the custom report output, which is in simple XML format, the same will be sent to the delivery step without any transformation. That will be sent to the delivery step, and in the delivery step use XML instead of CSV. Use XML. If you generate any sequence generator, there also use XML, and click on OK and run the integration. By doing this, what happens is the custom report output, which is in XML format, will be sent to the delivery step, and the same will be attached as a file, output file. Okay, now let me save this anyway. Okay, so can you see? I'm not doing any transformation. What I will do is I will go and launch this integration. Launch this integration. Relationship. Select child or spouse. And here I'm not selecting sequence generator because my sequence generator is still using CSV format. So use system default. The static file name I have changed that format to XML. So click on OK. Now the output should be in XML format. Can you see this? Because we didn't do any transformation. So the whatever the custom report output that we get, the same will be sent to the delivery step. In the delivery step, we are attaching that as an workday attachment. Yeah, I think I cannot open directly. So it is in XML. So the same is added to this one. Now you can, when you do this one, you go to this and you download this XML. Download this XML and paste it in your Oxygen editor and write your XSLT. Again, if you are new to the XSLT, if you don't know, what you can do is you can get the XSLT from my integration. Guys, follow that process. Okay, you will get that. And now you need the XSLT, right? So you can go to this integration. Now currently we are not using any XSLT. So if you want to view that, see, view XSLT attachment transformation. These are easy to remember. To create XSLT attachment transformation. To view XSLT attachment transformation. To edit XSLT attachment transformation. and here give your integration WICT underscore July underscore EIB. Click on OK. So here you can download this and use this XSLT for your reference. Yes. Any other queries?
One question. In the integration, right? Can you open that integration transformation tab section?
Integration. Okay, you want me to open the integration?
Yes, yes.
In
Integration.
Currently we are not doing any transformation. If you want to do it, integration, enterprise edit. In the transformation, select. Sorry, yes. Do you have any
Custom.
questions? If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
if you
Here,
want to do the transformation, custom transformation.
and here we are giving custom. Here, what we are doing, we are giving the name, right?
Yes.
Custom transformation.
Give that name WICT underscore July underscore name of your transformation. Give that.
So which is we have to create it, right?
And
This
how,
one custom translation.
yes, how we are creating? How can we create that? What is the task?
Transaction code we have create XLST attachment transformation.
Create XSLT attachment transformation. Using that.
Yeah, is that. So there, because my question is,
Mm,
in the oxygen editor, what we are doing, if you paste our XML,
mm,
then we give the XLST, it will show the output of that, right? Output of that CSV format.
mm.
Yeah, am I right?
Yes.
So, now we are once we create that XLT, so that if you give that name, it automatically taking care of this everything, right? Backend.
Right. Yes. So what we do is first we get the XML file and then we
Yes,
write the XSLT. Once you
yes,
write
yes,
the XSLT, then using create XSLT attachment transformation task, you will add your XSLT to the tenant. You will upload your XSLT file to the tenant, and then you will mention the same by giving that XSLT transformation name here. So integration will
yeah.
take care of that transformation internally.
Yeah, can you open this now where I can see that code in this custom report name, custom transformation name? Can you open this one?
See, first of all, when you have the XSLT, you will add that XSLT to the tenant using the task create XSLT attachment
Yes, yes.
transformation. Is that clear?
Yeah, that is clear. That is clear.
So using create
Okay.
XSLT, when you create this one, you will give some name, right?
Yes, that's name. That's true.
This is the name
Yeah,
is nothing but this one, what you mentioned here.
yeah. That is the name. So the code where we are giving in this, report name.
If you want to see this code,
Yeah, view. That is edited. That or something view.
view
Yeah, view XSLT. Yes, yes.
attachment transformation and select the name that you have given while creating this WICT underscore July.
Okay. Now here we can see it, right?
Huh.
So okay. Mhm. Okay, fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
We will check it one
yeah,
custom report.
yes, let me stop the recording.